Let's get to the latest news from Washington. President Biden slamming the Supreme Court's decision to strike down the use of race in college admissions. The president leveling some of his sharpest criticism of the court itself when responding to a reporter's question after his remarks on affirmative action.
President Biden, the Congressional Black Caucus at the Supreme Court has thrown into question its own legitimacy. Is this a rogue court?
This is not a normal court.
This is not a normal court, is what the president was heard saying before he walked out of the room. Niles Standage, a White House columnist for The Hill, joining us now. Niall, I think a lot of Americans are asking, is this the president expressing his bias or merely accusing the courts of bias?
It's him expressing his opinion. The question is whether that is a good thing or not. On the one hand, of course, he's going to have an opinion about affirmative action, just as he'll have opinions about many other things that the court rules on. The question is, by a president criticising the court so directly, does he contribute to the undermining of public trust in that court? And we know already, Adrienne, that trust is very low. There's a Quinnipiac poll just a couple of weeks ago putting trust in the court or approval of the court at just 30%, the lowest since they'd begun polling that in 2 decades. So that's the context in which these kind of comments are made.
Well, since you're talking about polls, I'm going to bring another one to you. This Pew Research poll this month finding more Americans disapprove than approve of colleges considering race and ethnicity in admissions. Nearly a third of Black Americans and 40% of Hispanic Americans are included in those numbers. Is the White House out of touch?
Well, it is out of touch with the popular opinion in the sense that, as that poll indicates, affirmative action is not very popular at all with the population at large. Now, obviously, it's more popular with Democratic voters than the general public. But I do think this is a really important point, Adrienne, because we're not talking about a situation that is parallel to the striking down of Roe versus Wade. Striking down of Roe versus Wade was unpopular. The banishing of using race in these terms as an admission characteristic or to gain admission to college, the court actually is on the side of popular opinion on this one.
You know, the NAACP, unsurprisingly outraged. 9 states, though, when you look back at history, including California by voter referendum back in 1996, have previously banned affirmative action. So it's kind of surprising to some that this would be such a shocking decision. Is this a case of too many people being ill-informed or forgetting our nation's history?
There are a couple of things. I think one of the things that makes the pro-affirmative action argument so difficult to make is that it has the effect of discriminating, in this case, against Asian Americans in particular. So it's just really hard to morally justify that. On the point about being informed, I do think it's really vital to stress, Adrienne, that all they have stopped is race being used as a kind of a shortcut or label. A college applicant who is Black or Latino can still, in their college essay, talk about their own experiences of racial discrimination or the legacy of racism, and it is fine for colleges to take that into consideration, evaluating the fibre of that person. It's just that you can't simply say, well, that person's Black, so we want to bring them in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember doing a speech on affirmative action back when I was in high school, so this has been a long time coming, too. I won't tell you how long. Niall, there's growing talk that this decision may also impact programs, diversity programs at companies. How would that work?
The idea is that this decision is making the atmosphere less hospitable to those kind of programs. On the one hand, we know it's legal to encourage a welcoming environment so you get a lot of job applicants or applicants for promotion. On the other hand, we know it's not legal, clearly, to give someone a job purely on the basis of race. So the question is, what happens to things in the middle ground? Like, let's say, for example, leadership training programs that are specifically for minorities, or mentorship programs that are specifically for minorities. Are those good because they're creating that welcoming environment? Or in the case of the leadership roles, does it amount to discrimination to people who are not members of those groups? We're expecting to see more litigation on that question.
All right, Niles Standage, happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend, Adrienne.
Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.